every day. Crochet. Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. Alright, so I was watching a bunch of country music videos because I don't know about you, but I have learned, okay, that country music is pretty much R&B music just with different people kind of singing it, and I super like it. Okay, I low-key love it. So my friend and I were sharing some of our favorite country music songs. Some of mine include, some Blake Shelton jams, some Luke Bryan jams, a little bit of Brad Paisley. But he put me on to his friend here. Well, not his friend, but when you think you know people that are famous and you really don't. His homeboy, Jimmie Allen, who is an African-American country music star from Delaware. So he was playing the song, and we're jamming along, doing our thing, and I see this little cutie on the bed with his little cowboy boots, and of course, y'all already know that like a spy, like I was looking out for, like, I'm out here investigating. I see this beautiful, dope granny square blanket, so you know what I said, we have to do a video on this right here. Alright, so let's break it down. So I have to be honest with you all today. I struggled putting together this video simply because of the colors that were chosen for this blanket. It was extremely hard to tell where the stitches ended, where the stitches started up again, where, are we going between the holes, are we going into the tops of the stitches? I wasn't sure. But the good part about that, y'all know I struggle with English. The good part about it is that, I'm making this up. So it's just my opinion. It's just kind of what I see if I were to try this here blanket or these patterns. So that's what we're going to go with. But to make my life a little bit easier, I went ahead and wrote some things down. So if I sound like I'm reading or if I sound like a robot, it's because I'm reading, but not because I'm a robot, okay? I am not a robot. So what I want to start with here is an initial foundation chain of 6. Why are we going with 6? Because that's the number that I decided to go with. I can't actually tell how many chains are in foundation chains. It's just, it's my weakness. We're going to call it my kryptonite. I can't really tell when they're hidden, but I'm pretty good about kind of winging it and making it work from there. All right, so we're going to start with a foundation chain of 6 and then move on to our first round. I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a heads up right now. I interchange the words row and round whenever I'm discussing crochet patterns. Why? Because I typically don't use crochet patterns. Again, I like to wing it. So if you hear me using either of those, just know that they, in this instance, they're going to mean the same thing. All right, so the first round we are going to use 8 double crochet, okay? 8 double crochet there in the middle with the white yarn. And then you are going to slip stitch to join at the end of the round, okay? And then we're going to go up and chain 3. Why? Because anytime you are doing double crochets, at the start of the rounds, you are going to chain 3 so you can get that appropriate height. Okay? If you want to do different heights or want to try to do different tweaks and tricks and things, then you can do different heights there at those chains as appropriate. But because, again, we're making this up, and because, again, we're just going to kind of go off of what we're seeing, we're going to start this with a chain of 3. And then we are going to do an increase, all right? So just like we did with previous patterns, just like when you're making a hat and you're starting at the crown, you have to increase out, kind of a burst-like thing, like the sun. So we are going to do double of the double crochet, all right? So 2 times each of the double crochets that you did in the previous round, which will now give you 16 double crochet. Now, before we keep going, I want to say do not get excited, because even though I'm giving you numbers right now, I promise you I'm going to forget to keep counting the stitches as we continue on. I really would rather just focus on the pattern that was used and how to the best of your abilities and best of my abilities, to kind of replicate this if that is your desire. I am unsure of exactly how many stitches there will be for each round. So again, I know I'm doing it right now because it's quick and easy, and it's kind of quick and easy to count as well, but I promise you, I ain't gonna keep this up. All right, so round 1, we had 8 double crochets. Round 2, we now have 16 double crochets. And round 3, it looks like we are now going to be using shells. So let's see what that looks like. Round 3 is where we are now starting with the blue yarn. So rounds 1 and 2, we had that very nice white yarn there starting it off, and now we are going to switch the colors to the blue yarn. They also seem to be, the stitches are in groups or clusters, and I am going to say they are in clusters of 3 double crochet. Nope, just kidding. 3 triple crochets. I actually wasn't sure. All right, I'm gonna keep it funky with y'all. I'm not sure if these are double crochets or triple crochets. Because of the height of these blue stitches, I wanted to assume that they were triple crochets, but you know, I just really don't know. So we're gonna say that these are in clusters of 3 triple crochets, and we're just going to roll with that. But if you try double, let me know how it turns out. All right. So I'm going to explain these as shells. A shell moving forward will be any time that there are a group of 3 stitches together, whether they're double crochets or triple crochets. And then small shells will be anytime there are groups of 2. Okay, groups or clusters. All right. So for this blue round, which is the 3rd round, there are 15 sets of shells, which would be about 45 stitches in total. All right. So that is what I'm going to go with here for this 3rd round. All right. Moving on to the 4th round, and this is where we are in red. The pattern starts to switch up just a little bit. Now again, I'm assuming that you have some working knowledge already of crochet, of the basics of these stitches, and also of how to do a granny square and how that's going to just gradually increase, and we're going to focus on the corners when we're increasing. So where this is a little bit different than the previous 3 rounds, this one starts to do what those granny squares do, so where you only increase on the corners. So what we have here is a pattern of 1 shell, followed by another shell, followed by 2 chains, just 2 quick chains by themselves, and then a double crochet by itself, 2 chains, double crochet by itself, 2 chains, and double, and then shell, shell. All right, so the double shells would be on the corners essentially, and then along the sides is when you'll be doing chain, chain, double, chain, chain, double. Okay, and then you just keep on rolling from there. Okay, so just a quick recap. The first round we had 8 double crochet. On the second round we had 16 double crochet. And then on the third round we had a set of 15 sets of shells, all right, which gave us left us with 45 triple crochet. Okay, so for that third round, we're going to roll with triple crochet over double crochet. Then once we get back to when we start on round 4, we are right back to doing double crochet with a pattern of increasing using 2 shells on the corners, and then a pattern of chain, chain, double crochet, chain, chain, double crochet, all the way around until you get to the end of that round. All right. I don't know about y'all, but every time I hear 2 chains, I think 2 chains. All right, moving on. So round number 5, okay, this is when we are back to the white yarn again. The pattern that I have made up in my brain is to use a shell, to then use another shell, and then do a small shell, okay? And then you're going to kick that and do it again. Do a shell, do another shell, and then do a small shell. Again, continuing to do your increases on the corners, all right, and slip stitching on the end. I also want to note that these stitches are being you are doing them in between the stitches of the previous round rather than at the tops of them. I think you could also do it using the tops of the stitches. It'll just again give you a little bit of a different kind of look than what they currently have right here, where it looks like it's bursting out like the sun. All right. So that was round 5. All right, moving on to round 6, we have shell, shell, double crochet, shell, shell, and a double crochet. All right, so shell, shell, double crochet is how you're going to start it, and then you are just going to do the double crochets just at the tops of every one of them, again in between, all the way down the sides. So it's a typical granny square at this point where you are just increasing it on the sides, okay? I really want to emphasize that point because if nothing else is clear from this video, that's how we're going to make this a square, is to only increase on the corners. All right, so do your 2 shells on the corners, and then just do your double crochets into each available space just one time, all the way down the sides, all right, until you get to the end. And then for the next round, I ain't gonna lie, I am not sure what round we're on. Okay, we talked about 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say we're on round 8. Okay, not sure. Round 8, you're going to do again, shell, shell, and then double crochet all the way down. Essentially the exact same way that you did the previous round. Alright, now we're going to switch on back to blue. Okay, so this is round 9. So rounds 1 and 2 were white yarn. Round 3 was blue yarn with the triple crochet. Round 4 was red yarn. And then 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all using white yarn. Alright, now we are on round 9. Back to blue. You are going to increase again only on the corners, and then do your double crochets all the way around. All right, so kind of similar to the way that you did it on with the previous round. The only difference is, and I'm looking at it a little bit closer, maybe these are half double crochets and not actually double crochets. I don't really know. So, just go with however the Lord leads you. All right. And then round 10 is white going all the way around again, where again you are only increasing on the corners and just kind of doing it like a regular granny square. Okay. And then lastly, you can finish it with some kind of a border. In this example on the blanket that was in the video, they used red, which I thought was really cute and nice. But then when they joined all the different squares, they used that white still on the inside. Alright, we are at the conclusion of our video. Okay, so again, as a reminder, this was a Jimmie Allen video. The song is named Best Shot, and this blanket was spotted towards the end, I think at the very end of the video. So I'm actually impressed that we caught it, because usually, we out here dancing and kind of acting a fool. So yeah, this was the video. I think the blanket is super like all-American. Looks super down home and comfortable. I feel like they've had this blanket for a long time. And his grandma was like, baby, you better put my blanket in your video. He said, all right, grandma, I got you. And I'm glad she did, so I can make this video. All right, so that's all I have for you guys today. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you happen to see any everyday crochet items out and about while you're watching movies, while you're watching TV, while you're on your YouTube, feel free to screenshot it and send it my way. Let's see if we can break down these patterns. All right, thanks for watching. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.